Okay, good evening and welcome to a special bonus Iyun Iyun tonight. Bikurim Perek Gimel Mishnah Ches. I have two chidushim to say, so two mishnayos. I give one chiddush on each mishnah. Why not? Mishnah Ches says that part of the mitzvah of Bikurim is to bring in and do a hiddur mitzvah, do it in a nice way. So the rich people used to bring their Bikurim in baskets of gold and silver. The poor people couldn't afford baskets of gold and silver, so they used to make these baskets of wicker baskets. I don't know, out of branches, rubber branches, the willow branches, and after they were done with beating them on sukkah, they used it for that. So the Mishnah says that Aniyim, when they would give the bikurim, the actual fruits in the baskets, they didn't get back the baskets. The Kohanim got to keep the baskets. However, from the rich people, the gold and silver baskets went back to the owners. So what's the explanation? Why is that? Meaning, if they had to give the fruit and the basket, why are we distinguishing between rich people and poor people? If you have to give it, both should have to give. If not, then both should be able to take it back. So the Mefarshim explain that the Gemara says, Basra Anya an Azla an Yusa. After poverty goes poverty follows poor people, right? Usually the way it works, and unfortunately, the world is that not like Robin Hood, where the rich, the poor become richer and the rich become poorer, and everyone's the same, like a communist country. No, in capitalism, usually the rich become richer and the poor become poor. That's just the way it is. The Gemara says, the Gemara believes in capitalism. The Gemara says, therefore, they're accustomed to poverty. So therefore, they gave Bikurim, they lost their Bikurim. They also lose, and they had, cheaper baskets. They lose their baskets also. The rich people, they get to keep their basket. It doesn't really explain, meaning this adage of Basra Azla Anya Azla Azayusa, it shouldn't really be a psak din in terms of dine mamonis deciding who gets to keep something, right? So the tendency of the world is poor people to get poorer, so they lose their baskets, and rich people to get richer, so they get to keep their baskets. Hard to understand. What I like to say is that there has to be some sort of svara, some logic over here in halacha, and I think that the idea is that really the baskets. If you make it out of gold and silver, the basket of davar chashav, important thing. When you have an estrog, when you have one of those silver cases, it's expensive thing. It might cost more than the estrog, the actual box. So you can't say the estrog is batal to the estrog box. And the same way, the bikurim are not batal to gold baskets. They're worth a lot. Gold is worth a lot now. Not now. Gold will always be worth a lot. Always appreciates. Gold always appreciates. Gold is worth a lot, and silver is worth 1/100th of gold, but it's still worth a lot. So you can't say the bikurim. These are the first fruits. They're fruit. At the end of the day, they're still fruits. So they're not batel. They're not tafel to the basket. However, when it comes to wicker baskets made out of willow branches, so then the basket is tafel, right? Subordinate to the fruits themselves. So therefore, the Kohanim get to keep, if they're getting to keep the fruits, which is the ikr, they get the tafel also. When it comes to, really, they're only supposed to get the fruits. However, anything which is subordinate, they would get also. But when it comes to baskets of gold and silver, so the gold and silver baskets are not subordinate, not tafel to the bikurim. They're probably worth more. Therefore, they get returned. The svara and halacha, it makes sense. I think when the Chazal say basar anya azan yusa, after a poor person in poverty goes, they're just commenting after the fact that the halacha is based on some logical reason in halacha, not just based on this adage that the tendency is for poor people to get poorer. I think that is the correct svara, and after that's being the correct svara, because that's the way it makes sense in halacha, it's understandable that this is an example of poor people getting poorer. Hope you enjoyed tonight's shir. See you in the next one.